1/3 of adults over 50 feel lonely at least once a week, not occasionally, but every week. And here's the part that nobody talks about. The research says the primary cause is not losing a spouse or moving away from family. It is losing the structure that work gave you, the calendar, the purpose, the people. I left my CFO role in 2023, and I made a decision early that I want to share with you. Not because I had a grand plan, because I had a bias towards action. And that one thing changed everything that came after it. Welcome to Retirepreneur, where professionals 55 plus turn decades of expertise into income without risking what they built. I'm Kurt Rose, CPA and former CFO, and I'm building this alongside you. And if you're an experienced professional looking to turn your expertise into income, subscribe below so you don't miss a new video every week. And before we get into it, I bring a CPA and CFO lens to everything we cover here, but your situation is unique. Take what's useful, run your own numbers, and work with a qualified legal or financial professionals on the decisions that matter most. So here's what I want to walk you through today. Not a checklist, not a framework with a fancy name, just 3 things that I have learned about how this stage actually works. When you do them, each one opens a door you did not know was there. When you skip them, the calendar stays empty, and the calendar will tell you everything. Let's go. The first thing I learned is that your brain needs a destination. Not necessarily a hobby, but a destination. There is a difference. A hobby fills time, but a destination pulls you forward. For me, it was going back to school. I enrolled in the master's program in entrepreneurship at the University of Florida at 62 and graduated at 63. I want to be clear about something. I did not do that because I needed the degree. I did it because I needed the pursuit. The research backs this up. McKinsey found that meaningful engagement produces a measurable 4 to 8% uplift in overall health for adults 55 and older. Not perceived health, but measured health. And that is not a soft benefit, that is a clinical finding. But here's what the research does not capture. The moment I was back in a room with people who were building something, my whole orientation shifted. I stopped thinking about what I left, I started thinking about what I was going to do next. That is what intellectual engagement actually does. It repoints the compass. For you, it might not be a degree. It might be a conference or a certification, maybe a book club with people who are serious about ideas. The specific vehicle does not matter. The destination does. Start somewhere, anywhere. The first action is always the hardest one. The second thing I learned is that environment is everything at this stage of life. When you leave a career, you leave a network. Most people do not realize how much of their identity and energy came from the people around them until those people are gone. 60% of retirees say the ideal retirement combines work and leisure, not a full withdrawal. That is from Deloitte research. And I think the reason is simpler than most people admit. Full withdrawal removes you from rooms where things are happening, and humans are not wired for that. I started attending conferences, not to sell anything, but just to be present, to hear what people were building, to have real conversations about real problems. And then I started doing some consulting here and there. Not as a business at first, just staying in the work. A few hours, a few projects, and then something interesting happened. Each conversation led to another conversation. Each project opened a door I did not know was there. I also stayed active on LinkedIn, not just broadcasting, but engaging, commenting, responding, sharing things I actually thought were interesting. Here is what I want you to hear. None of those things were a strategy. They were a posture, a decision to stay present, to stay in rooms where things were being built. The people I have watched struggle at this stage of life are not the ones who slowed down. They're the ones who opted out quietly, gradually, until the calendar was empty and the phone stopped ringing. So stay in the room, even when you do not know exactly why you are there. A quick question before we go to the third one. Where are you right now? Option 1, still working, planning my exit, but not sure what comes next. Option 2, recently left, figuring out the calendar and what to put in it. Option 3, a few years in and looking for ways to add more structure and purpose. Drop it in the comments. I read them all, and your answer helps someone else watching this who is in the exact same place. The third thing I learned is the one that surprised the most. Physical structure is not about health. It is about momentum. When the work calendar disappears, so does the rhythm that organized your day. The alarm, the meetings, the deadlines. All of it gave your body and your brain a clock to follow. Without that clock, the day can dissolve. And a dissolved day is the beginning of a dissolved sense of self. So Sherry and I made a decision. We were going to actively plan and schedule things, not wait for life to happen, but actually schedule it. 2 months out, on the calendar, like it matters, because it does. We started Pilates 3 times a week when we were in town. And here's the thing about Pilates that we did not expect. It is not just exercise. It is a morning that has somewhere to be. And after Pilates, we go get coffee or breakfast, or we just sit at the beach for a while. That combination became one of the best parts of our week. We decided to take golf lessons, found some great places for putt-putt and entertainment. Things that sound simple, but require you to actually show up and be present with each other. We started attending conferences together for different reasons. I may go for the business conversations. Sherry goes for entirely different reasons, but we both come home energized. That tells you something. We travel now more frequently, but we do things a little bit differently. We sit down and alternately pick places for the year. We put them on the calendar. We give ourselves something to look forward to in every season. And in August, we are doing a 2-day sailing certification. We signed up. We haven't done it yet. And our adult kids think it's kind of hilarious what we do, but they think it's hilarious in a good way. Here's what I want you to hear in all of that. Not a single one of those things was part of a master plan. Each one just led to the next. Pilates led to better mornings led to more energy for the work, golf led to more time outside, conferences led to new ideas and new people, travel gave us things to plan towards, action creates action. Momentum builds on itself. And somewhere along the way, you stop waiting to feel ready and you start actively seeking things out. That is the whole game at this stage. So here's what I want you to leave with. None of what I just described was a plan. There was no spreadsheet, and God knows as a CPA, I love spreadsheets. There was no 5-year strategy. There was a posture, a decision to keep moving, to say yes to the things in front of us and to trust that it would open the next door. The master's degree led to a deeper understanding of what I wanted to build. The conferences led to consulting conversations. The consulting led to Retirepreneur. The Pilates led to clearer mornings. The upcoming sailboat lessons reminded us we still have things to learn and exciting adventures to explore. One action compounding into the next. The research on loneliness in retirement is real. 1 in 3 adults over 50 every week. And I understand it because I have felt a pull towards a quieter life, towards less, towards stopping. But here's what I know that I did not know when I left my job. Stopping is a choice. So is building. The people who thrive in this stage of life are not the ones who had the most money or the best plan. They are the ones who kept a bias towards action, who stayed curious, who treated this chapter the way they treated every chapter that mattered. Like there was still something worth building, because there is. So keep building. And if any of this resonated, the Soft Retirement playlist is where I go deeper on all of it. The link is in the description.